home advantage in Test cricket. It's something we always talk about, right? But how much does it really matter? Well, today, we're going to find out. We are diving deep into the stats for the upcoming showdown between New Zealand and the West Indies. We're going to see if the numbers can tell us who's got the edge. So, let's get right into it. All right, so the stage is set at the legendary Basin Reserve in Wellington. Now, if you know your cricket grounds, you know this place can be tricky. You've got those winds, a pitch that's always got a little something in it for the bowlers. It's never dull. So, as these two teams get ready to go head-to-head, the big question is, what do the numbers say? Who's really got the upper hand here?
Okay, first things first, let's talk about current form. You know, momentum is a massive deal in Test cricket. So who's coming into this match feeling good and who's, well, maybe hoping for a change of luck? The recent results should give us a pretty good clue.
And wow, yeah, a quick look at how these teams have been doing lately, and it paints a very clear picture, doesn't it? You've got New Zealand with a whole string of wins, while the West Indies, well, they've been having a tougher time. The contrast is pretty dramatic. So let's put some hard numbers to that. New Zealand, they're on fire, 3 wins in their last 5. The West Indies, on the other hand, are really struggling, with 4 losses in that same span. And you just know that kind of momentum, or, the lack of it, plays a huge role mentally over 5 long days of Test cricket. But hey, as we all know, form can be fickle. What about the long game? Let's zoom out a bit and look at the history between these two sides. Does the head-to-head record paint a different picture? Let's find out. Okay, look at this. 80%. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a pretty huge number, and it really casts a shadow over this whole matchup. But what is it? Well, here it is. That 80%? That's New Zealand's win rate against the West Indies in their last 10 matches. They've won 8 of the last 10. I mean, that's not just a trend. That's straight-up dominance. You can bet the West Indies know that stat and are desperate to change the narrative. And if we look at their overall performance in those last 10 games, the story gets even more one-sided. New Zealand's win rate is a solid 60%. But check out the average score. They're consistently putting up almost 90 more runs in innings. And in Test cricket, that kind of scoreboard pressure is absolutely everything. So, okay, the recent form, the history, it's all pointing one way, right? Towards New Zealand. But matches aren't won on spreadsheets. They're won out on the pitch. So now let's talk about the venue itself, the Basin Reserve. You know, the first real contest of any Test match happens before a single ball is even bowled. It's the toss. And at the Basin, it's a big one. The stats show a pretty clear advantage, about 12% for the team that bats first. And with sunny skies expected, whoever wins that coin toss has a massive call to make that could set the tone for the entire game. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you look at how the teams perform at this ground, the gap seems to get even wider. New Zealand wins 60% of the time here, and their average score is a massive 372. So everything is pointing to a Kiwi victory, right? Well, hold on. There's a little twist in the numbers. 660. Now that number doesn't seem to fit the story we've been telling, does it? So, what's that all about? That, my friends, is the highest score the West Indies have ever made at the Basin Reserve. Think about that. Not only is it a huge total, it's actually higher than New Zealand's best score on their own turf. It's like this one little piece of data that whispers, hey, don't forget what we can do. So, where is this game likely to be decided? Well, the numbers point to one thing loud and clear: pace bowling. At the Basin Reserve, the fast bowlers are the ones who do the damage, taking a whopping 72% of all wickets. So pretty simple, right? The team whose quicks get it right is probably going to be the team celebrating at the end. Okay, so we've looked at the form, we've looked at the history, and we've looked at the battleground itself. Now let's pull it all together. What does the path to victory look like for each of these teams? And really, it all comes down to this. For New Zealand, the game plan is pretty straightforward. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Lean on that incredible home record and that consistent form. For the West Indies, it's a different story. They've got to find that magic, that spark. They have to channel the spirit of that record-breaking 660 and pull off something special, something that defies all the recent stats. So that's where we're left. On paper, the data tells a pretty convincing story, doesn't it? It